my dear learners, for this course on design of machine elements 2. From today we are starting a new module, that is in module 5 we are beginning a new topic, that is design of clutches. In this module 5 we will be dealing with design of clutches, brakes and bearings. First let us discuss design of clutch in today's lecture. Coming for design of clutch, first of all the meaning of clutch is that clutches are mechanical members which are used to engage driving and driven shaft for power transmission. We will be using clutch to engage and disengage the driving and driven shaft for power transmission purpose. Coming for broad classification of clutches, we have two varieties of clutches. One is positive clutch, second one is friction clutch. Coming for positive clutch will have are of jaw types. They will be engaging the shafts with the help of jaws. Hence, for high speeds, they are not recommended because of presence of jaws. They are subjected for high shocks. Whereas the frictional clutches are preferred over the positive clutch because of the reason the frictional clutches will work based on the frictional force between the contacting surfaces. And also, the frictional clutches are preferred because during high speeds they can engage without taking larger shocks. They will slip during the engaging of clutch, provides time for picking up the torque by the driver, and also they are preferred in high speed transmission because during engagement they won't take larger shocks. They work on the frictional force between the surfaces in contact. Coming for frictional clutches, in this module we will be designing single plate clutch, multi plate clutch and cone clutch. Generally there are four broad types of frictional clutches, that is single plate clutch, multi plate clutch, cone clutch and also we have centrifugal clutch. Among these four we are discussing single plate clutch, multi plate clutch and cone clutch. The data required and also formulas required for design of clutch is available in unit 13 of our design data handbook written by K. Mahadevan and K. Balavira Reddy. We are referring 4th edition. If you refer unit 13 in the data handbook, you will be getting the details regarding the clutch. And also the formulas which we are going to employ are so minimum, that is we are determining only axial force and torque transmission. Hence the design of clutch is the most easiest design among all other machine members which we are discussing in this course itself. Before getting to solve numerical problems on single plate and multi plate clutches, first let us derive expression for torque transmitted by frictional clutch. Coming for deriving an expression for torque transmitted by frictional clutch in today's lecture, let us consider the clutch with a radius Ri and R0 as shown in the figure, and let me consider an elemental ring of dimension dr at a distance of r as shown in the figure. Now if I observe the pressure distribution and the axial force on this clutch, it will look like this. So we will be having like this. And there is a pressure acting on this clutch, and we will observe the axial force acting. Now in order to derive, let me consider an elemental ring dr at a distance of r from the center on this clutch disc. Now the area of the elemental ring will be equal to 2 pi r into dr. Now if P is the pressure acting, then axial force on the elemental acting on the elemental ring will be equal to pressure times area, that is pressure into area is 2 pi r dr. Now we have determined the axial force also. Next is, if mu is the coefficient of friction, then frictional force over the entire length will be given by the radius r varies from Ri to r naught, so therefore I should integrate it. It varies from Ri to r naught, and if P times 2 pi r dr is the axial force, then frictional force will become mu into Fa, that is mu into P into 2 pi r into dr. Hope you understood. So therefore the torque is given by the formula total torque is equal to the frictional force into perpendicular length, that is integral is from Ri to r naught mu into P into 2 pi r dr into the perpendicular length is also radius, so therefore it will become radius square. It will become radius square. Let me write it properly. So thereby we have determined the expression for axial frictional force and total torque. Now, to derive the actual expression for axial friction force and total torque transmitted, we have two theories. One is uniform pressure theory. In case of uniform pressure theory, this is usually employed for new clutches. We assume that the pressure is uniformly distributed over the frictional surface. So therefore, for uniform pressure theory, the pressure is considered to be constant over the entire surface. Total axial force based on uniform pressure theory, FAP, let me call it as FAP, will be equal to, so let us take from equation 1 and this as equation 2. So axial force is equation 1, frictional torque is equation 2. So axial force, that is from equation 1, equation 1 is for elemental ring. So for total length it will be integral of Ri to r naught times the elemental length, that is P into 2 pi r dr is the axial force. So axial force per elemental ring is 2 pi r p dr. The total axial force will become integral over the length Ri to r naught 2 pi r dr into pressure. Now if I integrate this, I will get F axial force based on uniform pressure theory is equal to 2 pi p, integral is r square by 2, hence I will get r naught square minus ri square divided by 2. I cancel off 2 and 2. So I got axial force based on uniform pressure theory as, I can substitute r as d by 2, so therefore I will get 1 by 4 pi times p d naught square minus di square. So this is the expression for axial force based on uniform pressure theory. Now from equation 2, total frictional torque will be T is equal to integral is from Ri to R naught mu times P 2 pi R square dr. So if I integrate this, I will get the total frictional torque as 2 pi mu P, I will get it as R cube by 3, hence it is R naught cube minus Ri cube by 3. If you observe, we can substitute for pi times p as 4 FAP by d naught square minus di square. So therefore, if I write it for r naught cube in terms of diameter, so I left out with T is equal to pi times P, I'll take out pi times P, I'll take out mu times 2 by 3 of d naught cube minus di cube divided by 8. Now pi p can be written as 4 FAP by d naught square minus di square. So therefore pi p can be written as 4 FAP by d naught square minus di square into mu into 2 by 3 into 1 by 8 into d naught cube minus di cube, where a mean diameter is defined as, mean diameter for uniform pressure theory is defined as 2 by 3 of d naught cube minus di cube divided by d naught square minus di square. So therefore, if I substitute the mean diameter and solve, I will get the expression for torque as, I will put it 4 ones are 4 2s are 8, that is 1 by 2 mu FAP, and this is written as mean diameter dm. So this is the expression for frictional torque based on uniform pressure theory, and this is the expression for axial force, total axial force based on uniform pressure theory. So we know for elemental length, for total I will integrate it over the radius Ri to R0, we know total torque. So if I integrate and solve, I will get this answer. Similarly, we have uniform wear theory. Coming from uniform wear theory, this is used for worn out clutches, that is for old clutches. This is based on the assumption that the wear is uniform over the frictional surface. Hence, the wear rate is proportional to pressure times the velocity. So for uniform wear theory, wear rate is proportional to pressure times velocity. We know that velocity is equal to angular velocity times the radius. Hence, for this theory, we will consider pressure into radius as constant. So substituting for velocity, we have angular velocity times the radius. Hence, we can take pressure into radius is equal to constant for uniform wear theory. If I employ the same thing from equation 1, we will get from equation 1 axial force based on uniform wear theory is equal to integral is from Ri to R0 P into 2 pi r into dr, where product of pressure and radius is constant. Hence, I can write it as 2 pi constant, integral of dr is r. So I left out with R0 minus Ra. So in terms of diameter, total axial force based on uniform wear theory will be, so diameter by 2, it will become pi c. C is representing for pressure into radius. So hence I can write it as d0 minus dA. So hence the final expression will be FAW is equal to, constant is standing for pressure into radius R, d0 minus dA. Next, moving for total torque from equation 2. Total torque is given by integral is from Ri to R0 mu p 2 pi r square dr. So therefore total torque will be equal to, pressure into radius is constant, So I can take it of mu into 2 pi into present radius is constant. I left out with r. So integral of r is r square by 2. Therefore, I will get 1 by 2 r naught square minus r square. So in this r square, I taken 1 r outside. P into r I written it as constant. I left it 1 r. Integral of r dr is r square by 2. So I written substitute upper limit and lower limit. I will get 1 by 2 times r naught square minus r square. So in terms of diameter, if I write T will be equal to 1 by 4 mu into pi into c times d naught square minus di square. Now I can substitute for pi times c. Pi times c is this one only. Pr is nothing but pi times c. So therefore, if I substitute for pi times c, it is FAW by d naught minus di. It is FAW by d naught minus di. Hence, total torque will be 1 by 4 into mu into FAW by d naught minus di into d naught square minus di square. So now if I define at this point the mean diameter for uniform wear theory is d naught plus di by 2, just the average. So then I left out with this can be written as a plus b into a minus b. A minus b will get cancelled. A plus b by 2 is d mean, so I left out with 1 by 2. Hence torque is equal to 1 by 2 times u times FAW. So if you observe, we got the same answer, whereas the values of FAP and FAW differs, and also the value of mean diameter will also differ. Here also we will get the mean diameter, right? So here also we will get the mean diameter dm. This 1 by 4 I can write as 1 by 2 into 1 by 2. This is a plus b into a minus b. A minus b get cancels. A plus b by 2 is d mean. So this is the final expression we have. And for uniform wear theory, we can write the maximum axial force FAW. Since the maximum axial force acts at the inner radius, it acts at the inner radius. So therefore, the pressure is also maximum at inner radius. Hence, FAW is given by 1 by 2 pi times P d1 times d0 minus d1. Kindly make a note. So this is the expression for FAW. If I want to work on mean pressure, then replace d1 by dm. If I replace d1 by dm, I will get the value of mean pressure based on axial force based on wear theory. Unless otherwise specified, always assume uniform wear theory and solve. This is because of the reason the uniform pressure theory predicts more torque transmission compared to uniform wear theory. Hence, unless otherwise specified, we always design based on uniform wear theory itself. Let me pause this video for a while so that you people can copy down the formulas and derivations for axial force and frictional torque transmitted, which are derived based on the theories as uniform pressure theory and uniform wear theory. For uniform pressure theory, pressure is considered to be constant over the entire frictional surface, whereas for uniform wear theory, we will assume that the wear rate is uniform for entire frictional surface. Later, we will solve simple numerical problems on single plate clutch. Now moving ahead, the problem number 1 on design of clutches states that design a single plate clutch consists of two pairs of contacting surfaces for a torque capacity of 200 Newton meters. Due to the space limitations, the outer diameter of the clutch is to be 250 millimeters. Let us solve this problem. If we move for the data given for problem number 1, we have a single plate cut consisting of two pairs of contacting surface. So therefore, the contacting surfaces are denoted by n dash. We have two pairs, hence it is 2. For a torque capacity of 200 Newton meter, so this can be written as 200 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton millimeters. And we have the outer diameter d naught is equal to 250 mm. Now he is asking us to design this single plate clutch. We have to design this single plate clutch. In clutches, the design is nothing but obtaining the dimensions, that is di and d naught, and determining the axial force and torque transmission. That's all. Now to determine this, he has not given the coefficient of friction. So hence, the torque expression contains the coefficient of friction. So therefore, the only table that we will be using in design of clutches is table number 13.4. So referring to table 13.4, from table 13.4 of our design data handbook written by K. Mahadevan and K. Balavira Reddy, we are referring 4th edition and page number 283. It is in page number 283. Always, if the material is not given, you always assume the frictional surface material as leather. Assuming leather material, we have the coefficient of friction mu is given by 0.3 to 0.5. So therefore, I will adopt the average value. So adopt mu as 0.4. So if I adopt mu as 0.4 and solve, I will get the torque as given for us. Torque is given, so this T is equal to 2 into 10 to the power of 5 Newton mm. Hence I can find the dimensions. So use torque equation. So since he has not specified which theory should be used, always, unless otherwise specified, assume uniform wear theory. Uniform wear theory. Unless otherwise specified, always we should assume uniform wear theory for design. So if I assume uniform wear theory, we will get the expression for torque T as pi by 8 into mu into n dash into P max into di into di square minus d naught square minus di square. This is equation 13.9f. So this is equation 13.9f of page number 259. Page number 259. So here we have P max. P max is also not specified. Referring to same table, we have the range for maximum pressure. Maximum pressure can vary between 0.07 to 0.29. So therefore, I can adopt the maximum pressure as 0.18 megapascals. So since he has given us the range for maximum pressure, let me adopt the average value. So hence, the average value will be 0.18 megapascals. So therefore, if I substitute and solve, I will get the value for inner diameter. Let us solve this. Torque is known, 2 into 10 to the power of 5, which is equal to pi by 8 times mu. Mu is 0.4. We have two surfaces which are active. Maximum pressure is 0.18. I don't know d inner. d naught is given as 250 square minus d inner square. So if I solve, I will get the inner diameter as di will turn out to be, if I solve, I will get the inside diameter as 60.05. 60.05. So therefore I can adopt it as 61 millimeters. So I can adopt it as 61 millimeters. Now we have calculated the diameter with the help of torque. Next, if I move for calculation of axial force, we know that the expression for axial force is given by Fa based on uniform wear theory is equal to 1 by 2 pi P max times di of d naught minus di. This is from equation 13.9b, referring to page 258. So therefore the total axial force will be 0.5 times pi into 0.18 into di is 61 into 250 minus 61, which is turning out to be 3260 newtons. 3260 newtons. So finally we have the dimensions which are calculated as d inner is 61 mm, d outer is 250 mm, d mean for uniform wear theory is d naught plus di by 2. So therefore mean diameter will also become 250 plus 61 by 2, which is 155.5 mm. 155.5 mm. Always the thickness will be 2 mm. Thickness H is 2 mm. So this is solution for problem number 1. Let me solve problem number 2. The solution for problem number 2 is, if I list out the data given, we have determined the power transmitted by a single plate clutch assuming uniform pressure distribution. The friction surfaces have an outside diameter of 350 mm and an inner diameter of 280 mm. The coefficient of friction is 0.25 and the maximum allowable pressure is 0.85 megapascals. So let me solve this problem. If I list out the data given, we have a single plate clutch. So therefore it is n dash is equal to 1. I should use uniform pressure theory. We have the outside diameter d naught, which is 350 millimeters, and inner diameter di is specified, which is 280 millimeters. And he is also given the coefficient of friction as 0.25 and P max, maximum pressure is specified as 0.85 megapascals. 0.85 megapascals. We should calculate the power transmission P, and we should calculate, that's all. Now in order to determine the power, we require torque. So therefore our first aim is to determine the torque. Let us determine the torque first, thereby we can determine what is the power transmission. So we know that the torque equation for uniform pressure theory, I specified I should use uniform pressure theory. First let us determine the mean diameter. Mean diameter for uniform pressure theory is 2 by 3 times d naught cube minus di cube divided by d naught square minus di square. So this we have derived. If you have forgotten, this is equation number 13.9c. This is equation 13.9c. So if I substitute and solve, I will get the mean diameter as 2 by 3 times d naught cube. D naught is 350. 350 cube minus 280 cube divided by 350 square minus 280 square. So mean diameter is turning out to be 316.3 millimeters. Now I can find the value of axial force also, and so I can find the value of torque. So if I find the axial force, we have axial force based on uniform pressure theory is given by 1 by 4 pi p d naught square minus di square. This is from equation 13.9a. So therefore axial force based on uniform pressure theory will be 1 by 4 times pi into maximum pressure is 0.85 into d naught square. D naught is 350 square minus 280 square. So the value of axial force is 29,440.7 newtons. Now finally, if I calculate the torque, we have torque equation which is given by pi by 12 mu n dash p d naught cube minus di cube. This is equation 13.9c. Now we know all the values. If I substitute and solve, pi by 12 into mu is 0.25 given, n dash is 1, p is 0.85, d naught cube, that is 350 cube minus di is 280 cube. So I will get the answer for torque as 116,996.076 Newton millimeters. So therefore I can find the power, as we know that torque T is equal to 9.55 into 10 to the power of 6 into P by N. So since speed is not given, if speed is not given, assume the speed as 1000 rpm. Assume m is equal to 1000 revolutions per minute. So therefore I will get the power as 9.55 into 10 to the power of 6 into power is unknown. I am assuming it for 1000 rpm. This must be equal to torque. Torque is 116,399.6.076. If I solve, I will get the power as 121.88 kilowatts. So this is the solution for problem number 1 and problem number 2. This is how we should solve the problems based on uniform wear theory and uniform pressure theory. In our next lecture, I will take up problems on multi-plate clutch and cone clutch.